Hey everybody, how are we doing today? Back in the kitchen day, which is appropriate because the thing I really wanted to talk to everybody about today was if you're going to be keto, or really honestly, if you're going to do any type of dieting ever, in any way, whatever diet path you choose, as I've stated before, keto worked really well for me, but it doesn't mean that it's going to work for you or that it's your path. It was my path, and I have personally done well with it and stay keto. So, that being said, whatever direction you decide to go with dieting, the one thing you really need to learn to do is cook. You're going to need to learn how to read recipes and deal with recipes and cook, and understand that you're going to be disappointed often with things that you make. Trial and error, don't give up on a recipe just because it didn't work the first time or because you didn't like it the first time. Go back at it. And especially if you're doing any kind of a diet of any kind where you're learning to cook, if you're creating your own recipes, which I do, I don't have it here. I was going to actually put it in the video, but I forgot. I have a notebook, and like under one, I was working on making crackers, trying to make a keto cracker on my own, and it's literally listed, keto cracker attempt number 1, and then everything I put in, I put down. By the way, that attempt failed miserably. They were horrible, but I'll continue to try. So learning to cook is very, very important. It's a big deal. You really need to do that. Trying to eat out or order food when you're dieting is next to impossible. Within keto, you can eat salads. My wife, who has also now gone keto, eats a lot of salad. She can't live on salad, so you have to find a way to do other things. Do a lot of research. I use an app that I pay for called Carb Manager. Carb Manager also has recipes. That's the reason I pay for the app. That's not really I'm obviously in no way sponsored in any way by Carb Manager. I'm just telling you, to me, it's the best of the carb tracking apps. I've tried pretty much all of them. It's the only one that I pay for, I can tell you that, and it has a ton of recipes in it. A lot of times I'll post things that I have made. If you want to know what's in it or how I did it, let me know. I'd be happy to pass it on to you. But learning to cook is going to be a huge factor. You cannot possibly eat healthier or in any way different than what is normal, what they consider to be normal, which that's a conversation. You can't possibly do that unless you learn to cook. You have to learn to cook. You just have to. It's not rocket science, folks. I mean, I have a slight advantage, I guess, because I was essentially raised by a single mother who worked a lot. My mother worked for the railroad, so she worked weird hours and was not home a lot of the times, and so I had to find out a way to use the stove and later on the microwave. Yeah, that's right, I'm old enough to remember when there wasn't a microwave. I'm sure a lot of the people watching this are in the same boat, but you had to learn. You had to learn how to function, and you had to learn how to cook. So I did. I had kind of lost that skill for a long time. I had kind of quit cooking, and now I am back. I cook actually a lot and all the time. Generally, almost every day, I've made something different for dinner that works for our household. So yeah, learning to cook is going to be a huge deal. Finding recipes you trust is when you Google, keto this or keto that always gets weird. You got to really pay attention. You got to go all the way to the bottom and really look at the carbs, because they'll call it keto and really it's a lot of times not. So, I saw a keto recipe for something the other day. I can't remember what it was, and it called for a cup of brown sugar. I'm like, what kind of stupidity is that? There's no chance that's keto, right? No matter what it is. So just make sure you read through the recipe before you even start thinking, oh, that sounds great. Just common sense. A lot of the keto Facebook pages, people post recipes on there all the time. Not a huge fan of the keto Facebook pages, but it is a good place to find recipes. So you're going to need almond flour. You're going to need coconut flour. A few other things that, xanthan gum seems to be a big one in a lot of the recipes. Just basic common sense. If you don't have spices, go out and buy you some. They're not that expensive, really, for just basic, small amount of spices. Definitely you want to do spices. I will show you. So I built the spice rack just this last year, and I keep it pretty solidly stocked with a lot of stuff. Obviously, meat and smoking meat, all of those things are important. Learning to do that would be a huge factor for you. learning how to cook meat. I'll be honest, I am terrible, terrible at steak. I'm learning. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm chicken, pork, especially smoking chicken. I'm a master. I swear to God, I can smoke chicken, and it's fantastic. Steak, still learning. Anything ground beef, sausage, all that. That's all basics. I'm pretty solid with that. But so there again, I'm trying to learn to grill steak properly. But so far, they've turned out okay at best. So there you go. Again, get it. There are keto cookbooks out there. Some of them are kind of expensive, and most of the recipes you can find on the internet if you just look. If you just spend the time and take a. I mean, everybody's scheduled. I sort of say take a Saturday, but hell, these days, who knows what your days off are? Everybody's days off are bizarre now. There's no such thing as regular anymore. So take whatever day you have. Take an hour and don't go to Facebook or don't go to Twitter or don't go to whatever social media platform tickles your fancy. Don't go to that for an hour, and instead look up recipes, copy and paste them, put them in your favorites, bookmarks, whatever it is you use for your browser. Print them off. That's what I've been doing lately because I bookmark them. I never go back to them. So now I've started printing them off. I've got a really cool little gadget that goes from my C-type to USB, which lets me print directly from my phone without wireless, which is nice because I don't have a wireless printer. So I've been printing them off and making a cookbook, my own cookbook. So again, if you want to stay with this, you want to stay diligent, you really truly want to be successful, you got to start learning to cook. Also, try to find a way to incorporate things that you normally wouldn't eat. Find a way to work them in. As an example, I can't stand raw vegetables. I've tried. I've really tried. The few raw vegetables I do like are generally starchy and I'm not supposed to have. So, myself and vegetables are a struggle. Have been for a long time. So one of the things I've done that I've found is they make, obviously, riced cauliflower. You can make it yourself at home with a food processor. However, I find that to be way too tedious when it's not that expensive to just buy it frozen. Riced cauliflower. And then there's another one I found that's pretty cool. It's riced cauliflower and riced broccoli all in one bag. Now, I don't eat either of those, and I hate both of them. And in fact, when they're cooking, they smell horrific. But I mix them into other things. Then the taste of them is gone. It tastes like whatever it is that I've made. I am now getting the nutrient value of that vegetable while I enjoy it. I make a taco bake. Some of you may have seen it on my Facebook page, on my Facebook post. It's exactly what it's on. It's basically just taco in a pan without a shell. But I mix riced cauliflower into that with the meat, with the seasoning, then a bunch of cheese on top of it. That way, now I'm eating cauliflower, but it doesn't taste like cauliflower. Still stinks like cauliflower when I'm cooking it. All right, so use that type of, option to mix things in. I know a lot of people don't like to eat a lot of meat. They still, a lot of people just simply don't want to eat something with a face. I get that. It's also really tough to do keto if you do that. There are other protein options, but, then you still got to get your fat options. There are fat options too, but let's face it, pretty much the best fat option there is butter. And if you're a true vegan, then butter's out. So that becomes harder. So, you just have to simply find a way. You have to find a way to incorporate something else into your diet. Vegetarianism, I think, is easier. It seems like they could probably, do keto pretty simply because most vegetarians will eat fish. And there's a lot of high-fat fishes. So most vegetarians will eat butter, things like that. It's vegans where I think, man, I know they do it. I've seen sites where there are vegan keto. It just baffles my mind how they can get enough fat and protein in their diet. But if it's working for them, whatever, or you, if you're one that's doing it, great. In fact, please comment. If you are vegan or vegetarian doing keto, I would love to hear from you. I really would. I would love to hear how you're doing it and what you're doing to make it work. Because it seems so antithetical to me. I would love for someone to sit down and explain it to me. That'd be fantastic. So again, learn to cook. Learn to expand your horizons. Learn to try to find different foods that maybe you would have never touched before. Try to find a way to work them in, and you'll also find that as you cut all the sugars and carbs, your taste buds are going to change. I used to hate any type of peppers, as far as bell peppers in any way, red, yellow, green, didn't matter. Hated them all. I've discovered that now I don't know that I love them, but I don't mind them anymore. They can be in something, and I'm perfectly okay with it. So, learn to cook, expand your horizons, and keep pushing, keep working. Don't give up. Right? Stay after it. You'll find something that works for you. Until next time.